Angry guy here, and women are in deep despair as men abandon them. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing if you already haven't, like the video, and turn on notifications to never miss another video again. Now let's begin. So women are in deep despair as men abandon them. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
We finally made it through Christmas, and here comes being single on New Year's Eve. I'd like to show you guys a photo of what should have been the worst New Year's Eve of my entire life. I'd gone to the park with a friend of mine, and this was about 3 days before New Year's Eve. And they took a picture of me because maybe they thought it would be a beautiful photo of me sitting by the water. But when I look back on that photo, it's one of the saddest photos I've ever seen of myself. Because I'd had a pretty bummer year, and a guy I really liked had broken up with me a couple months prior. What made it even worse is he and I had been dating on the previous New Year's Eve, so we had had a really good time, and I knew the good time I was missing out on. I'd had a really bad year in general. I was depressed, I wasn't taking care of myself, and I could not handle the thought of being alone on New Year's Eve. I had a lot of fear and anxiety consuming me because I knew the daunting evening I had ahead of me. New Year's Eve, too depressed to go out with my friends, but kind of scared of the dark places that my mind was going to go, sitting alone in my house, knowing that I had been dumped, knowing that someone I really liked was out there possibly with someone else, knowing that I was single and I was alone. All this piled on top of the fact that I'd already had a pretty upsetting year. Yeah, it definitely should have been the worst New Year's Eve of my entire life. You know what? I actually ended up having a pretty good New Year's Eve. One of my better ones, in fact, because it ended up teaching me a lot about myself and how to better navigate my relationships and breakups and getting through tough times in the holidays alone. I'd like to share with you what I did today. Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for years I was not so lucky in love and relationships until the day I sat down at my kitchen table, painted my nails, and decided, you know what? We make our own luck, and I'm gonna do everything differently. So if you find yourself experiencing fear, anxiety, or depression over the upcoming New Year's Eve holiday, then grab a bottle of nail polish. Let me know in the comments what color you are showing your self-love with today, and let's talk. All right, I've got 6 tips for you guys today that really helped me get through a particularly lonely New Year's Eve. 3 of them are things I did not do. 3 of them are things that I did to help myself move forward into the new year, to have a better new year. And if you stick around until the end, I'll share with you a couple of my New Year's Eve resolutions that also really helped me get past the holidays, move into the new year with a healthier dating mindset. The first thing I did not do was go anywhere on New Year's Eve that gave me negative feelings. For example, if you and maybe someone that you're not with anymore used to hang out downtown and you had a lot of fun memories there, but now those places make you feel sad, don't go there. Don't worry if your friends are trying to get you to go. If they're really your friends and you talk to them about what you're going through and your reasons for not going, they'll understand. The second thing I did not do on that New Year's Eve, which was really out of character for me, especially on New Year's Eve, I chose not to drink. This helped me in a lot of ways, because a lot of times when we're sad and we're struggling with depression or anxiety, alcohol just makes it worse. Or you might feel better temporarily, but the next day, you're still going to feel worse. You're going to wake up and you're going to know that the alcohol didn't solve any of your problems, and you still miss that person. And by the way, the number one reason you should not drink alcohol on New Year's Eve, especially if you're missing somebody, you'll text them. Alcohol brings down your inhibitions, and you'll text them Happy New Year's, or you'll try to get them to come out with you. These behaviors are incredibly self-sabotaging, bad for you, and no way to bring yourself into a healthy, happy new year. Number 3 might surprise you, because if you've watched any videos on my channel, you'll probably guess that I would tell you to actually stay home, take a beat, Paint your nails. Forget about your ex. Do something that makes you feel better about yourself. And when your nails are wet, you can't text your ex anyway. But you know what? I don't think you should stay home on New Year's Eve. While I don't think you should go out to places that make you sad, and I actually don't think you should hang out with people that remind you of your ex because maybe your ex introduced you to them, I still don't think it's a good idea to stay home alone. And that brings me into the 3 things I did do that will help you kick loneliness in the butt this New Year's Eve. So like I said, the thought of staying at home alone on New Year's Eve was incredibly daunting, but I also, going through a breakup, you don't feel like celebrating and going out with people. So I decided to do something different. I didn't stay in my house, but I looked up in my area. It was actually about an hour drive away from my house. There was a midnight sound therapy New Year's Eve meditation going on at a yoga village. I know it sounds very woo-woo, and I will be honest with you, I'm not huge on yoga and meditation. I'm more of a traditional gym girl. But like I said, I needed something different, and I needed something that wouldn't remind me every 5 seconds of my ex. And it definitely worked. I did not have time to think about how lonely I was because I had to drive to a place that I wasn't familiar with, surround myself by people I didn't really know, and try something new that I actually really enjoyed. And it was good for me. It helped me start out the new year with a positive mindset because when midnight rolled around, I wasn't focused on who I was or wasn't kissing or out with. I was focused on what were my resolutions for the new year. What was I going to do differently to make sure that my relationships were better moving forward? The second thing I did was before I left for the evening retreat, I got rid of everything visually in my house that reminded me of my ex or anything sad that reminded me that I was lonely. This helps a lot more than you think. Think about addicts. Addicts go off, you're totally addicted to your ex. You're having a hard time not thinking about them. So addicts go to rehab and they say the word.
You see, guys, it's intriguing. She's using a lot of different things to deflect from the fact that ultimately she should have settled down when she was a lot younger. My questions are this: why are you single at this point in your life? And she seems like an all right person. But I'm making these points. Why are you currently single at this point in your life? Probably you prioritized your career. Heads down. If that wasn't the case and you had not prioritized your career, then why are you currently single? Or were you previously married and that marriage just wasn't for you? So you got rid of that marriage, returned to the streets, spent time going around, racking up a body count, and now you're in your 40s and it's so much harder to date, to have relationships, to find someone that's going to commit to you in the long term. And of course, you have a lot of women who are now in their 40s that still think that they can go and have children. And it's unbelievable that they don't realize that by the age of 35, that's considered a geriatric pregnancy. There's a lot of women that start to struggle having children even before they turn 35. But then at the age of 35, it's hard for them to have kids. And then by the age of 40, forget about it. And there's a lot of women who begin spending massive amounts of money, taking out loans in the hopes that they're going to be able to have kids in their 40s or even late 30s. And it's just not going to happen. And these doctors take advantage of them, telling them that you have hope, and they have all these clients that were successful, and 99% of their clients were successful, when in reality, that's absolutely jazz. They're just trying to get that money from them. I mean, I'm telling y'all, it's pretty sad. It's absolutely sad. And these are the consequences of feminism. Women like this should have settled down, found a man when they were 18 years old, 19 years old, locked that dude down, gotten married, had their children, and then afterwards they could think about having a career. A woman should focus on her family and her children before she thinks about medical school or law school. She should build that foundation before she thinks about anything else. And unfortunately, most modern day women don't understand this. They have it backwards. They want to have their cake and eat it too. You can think about a career once you've had your kids and your kids are grown. Now you can go out into the world and you can do other things. You can start studying law. You can experience that and have that experience. But guess what? You have your foundation at home. When you come home, your husband is there, all right, who's holding down everything. So you have that foundation. So you don't have to go and be this great attorney, or you don't have to work for crap money. You can decide what you want to do. Women don't understand. They have more options once they have a family. They have a lot more options because they don't have to live off that money worrying about, oh, how am I going to survive? You already have that. You already have a man. You already have that. You don't have to worry about those things. But women have taken that for granted. They traded in their futures for instant gratification in the present. I constantly say that. They did that with things like careers. They're doing that with lonely fans and only fools. They putting themselves on Instagram, and and putting posting these thirst traps so that these simps will buy them things and subsidize their cost of living. And they don't even realize that what they're doing is they're selling their futures for instant gratification. And then they'll go around and say that, oh, men are insecure, just because I have a few photos online, these guys are insecure. And it's like, bro, employers don't want to take you. If you were to go to a government agency, they would never hire you. You can't get a job after the things you've done in government. And it's like, of course, while the government is like, oh yes, you go girl, it's your right to do this and all of these things, they won't even hire these people. You can't pass a security check. You can't pass an FBI you can't pass a background check after you've been on these platforms, after you've done these things, and they don't even comprehend it. This lady seems like an all right person, and you can clearly hear that she was in a state of despair. And to deal with this, she has to basically avoid reality. She has to distract herself. She has to go places where she's not reminded of what she doesn't have. And it's only going to get more difficult as she gets older, trying to find someone to establish a relationship with. And this craziness about self-love, caring for oneself is important, but it's gotten to the point where women are like, I love myself more. You love yourself so much that you're going to spend the rest of your life alone, saying that you're going to get exactly what you want, or it's going to be nothing at all. You're going to get it all, or you're just fine by yourself. And it's not true. These women wish they had families. They wish they had children. They wish that they had a home and they didn't have to take care of all of these bills. It's one of the big reasons why women are miserable is because they can't live within their means. So many of these women right now could have a home with a husband and a house to themselves and children in there. It may not be the biggest house, or maybe they live in an apartment, but they would have their family. They would have pretty much everything they need in there. She would decorate it and make it comfortable. That's what a woman's job is, to make the home livable and comfortable, so that when the man comes home, after fighting out in the world, he feels peace at home. And that's a part of that's his kingdom. And that's her job. That's her role, is to help him build his empire. And yet women have abandoned this, saying that they want to build their own empire. And then when it doesn't work out for them, they want to come and find a man and take a piece of his, take all of his, while still claiming that they're independent. You have all these modern day women today who are in relationships, who are married, still calling themselves independent, saying that they don't need a man. The man is just lucky to have them in their lives, in his life. Like, what are you talking about? Guys, if you're enjoying this content, help get this channel to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Guys, what do you think regarding everything we discussed here today? Women are in deep despair as men abandon them, and we're only going to continue seeing this happening further as time increases. Don't forget that come 2030, 45% of all women in the United States will be childless and single between the ages of 24 and 44. 25 and 44 will be childless and single in the United States. That's a lot of women. That's a lot of people. I want to know your thoughts regarding everything. What do you think about this video? What do you think about the lady in this video? And your thoughts about how she's handling things and what I've said regarding this. I want to know your thoughts, guys. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA. Been walking away. And cheers.